Hello, everyone. My name is Dom Cruz, and I'm a nutrition student who's passionate about public health. Today, I'll be discussing congestive heart failure, also known as CHF, and I'll be going over what it is, how it affects the body, and most importantly, how it disproportionately impacts the Black and Latinx communities. I'll also go over some practical prevention tips for people without a diagnosis and go over some strategies on how people with CHF can live a good life. Everything today is based on the goal that I want to spread knowledge to help my communities through the power of being able to have that knowledge and take action with that. So, let's help understand what exactly CHF is. Congestive heart failure is a chronic condition in which the heart isn't able to pump blood as well as it should be able to. This is a pretty bad condition and it can lead up to a ton of buildup of fluid in the lungs and the rest of the body. Common signs or symptoms that doctors tend to look for when diagnosing may include things like difficulty breathing, swelling in the legs, weight gain, and fatigue. Over time, CHF can make daily activities extremely difficult, and it can lead to some serious complications if it is left untreated. Now, CHF doesn't happen overnight. It does take some time for it to show. It often develops from other chronic conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes. Both of these are also way more common in Black and Latinx communities. Doctors tend to diagnose CHF through medical imaging, listening to the patient's heart and lungs, and tracking a patient's symptoms over time. Early detection is key to managing this disease and helping patients earlier. Now, when you take a step back and you look at the data is alarming. Black Americans have almost twice the incidence of CHF when compared to white Americans. Hispanic adults are also at high risk. When you look at the numbers, Black Americans sit at about 4.6 cases per 1,000 person years. Hispanics are at 3.5. And when you look at white Americans, they sit just at about 2.4, which shows that Hispanics have about an additional person and Black people have almost two additional people in per person years. This is due to things like poverty, low access to care, cultural mistrust, and language barriers that prevent the right care and the right awareness for our communities. This makes it harder for people to get diagnosed early or receive consistent care, which not only just makes these statistics, but this is real people's lives that we're talking about. And these are people in our families and our neighborhoods. So let's take a look at the toll that CHF leaves on our communities. Because of the systemic issues that we experience, Black and Latinx individuals are more likely to be hospitalized for CHF, and therefore it makes us more likely to die from it. Many don't even realize that they have CHF until it's way too late. Black patients often develop CHF at younger ages and develop more severe symptoms over time because of it. Latinx patients frequently go undiagnosed for longer periods of times due to barriers in access, awareness, and language. So, what can we do as individuals of our communities to help prevent CHF? Well, as an individual, we can do things like monitoring blood pressure and blood sugar, adopting heart healthy diets focusing on low sodium, more vegetables, and when trying to have good protein, eating things like chicken and fish. And if possible, trying to exercise about 2 to 4 times a week is ideal. And these habits may seem small, but they go a long way in helping prevent CHF because it starts with us building the awareness and making the small changes needed. Now, taking it a step further, what can we as a community do to help? Well, for starters, we can create opportunities for prevention. This could include hosting free screening events, nutrition education sessions, or even starting support groups just to get the topic going. It's important to provide these resources in both English and Spanish, making sure that culture is not a barrier and that everyone can get the help they need in the community. Now, even going another step forward, what are some systemic changes that can be made to help prevent CHF? Well, systemic change is essential in this. We need policies that guarantee healthcare access to both Black and Latinx communities. This is regardless of income or background. No one should be judged for wanting to be healthy. Doctors must be trained to recognize and address biases. Sometimes they need to realize that we are people too. And we must push for investments in preventative care so that our communities don't wait until it's too late to even get help in the first place. Now, sadly, even with all the prevention steps that we can take, people will still develop CHF. How can we help people with life after a diagnosis? Well, for starters, a CHF diagnosis isn't the end. It's just a new beginning with a new lifestyle. With the right medication, a healthy lifestyle, and emotional support from family and friends, many people still live life to the fullest. Let's also remember that mental health matters as well, and that we need to be there for someone when they have CHF. Not just in terms of making sure they take their medicine or making sure they eat healthy, but making sure that they have someone to talk to because that's what might be most important for them. So, just to recap, here are some key takeaways from my talk so far. CHF is dangerous, but there are many things we can do to help prevent and live with it. Our communities are at higher risk, and we know that. So it is up to us that we be more proactive in trying to prevent and trying to help. This includes monitoring blood pressure, organizing local health fairs, putting the topic out there, or even stepping out of your comfort zone and pushing for health equality. Every step from us counts to helping people, because although we might not have a family member, someone in our community most definitely does, and we need to realize that. Now, let's talk about some questions that I think the audience, you guys, might have. One is, how does CHF affect other parts of the body? And a key one is, if other parts of your body are not getting blood like they should, it means that they're also not getting oxygen, which means they will slowly start to deteriorate. And a big thing will be muscle groups will start to weaken. And if your muscle groups start to weaken, it means you're going to be in a whole world of pain, and other things will start to develop earlier as well. Is CHF just as dangerous outside these communities? Now, CHF is dangerous regardless of the community. It just happens to affect Black and Latinx communities way worse. When you look at other communities, they still suffer with CHF just like us. It is still the same scary condition that anyone can develop. Does age make CHF worse or change its course? Now, this is a hard one because if you get it younger, it means you will have to fight for longer, which means your body will be a lot tired a lot earlier. Now, if you develop it later, it will take a quicker toll on your body as your body is already starting to work weaker. Does it? I think that the big thing comes in we need to make sure that if someone does get a diagnosis younger, we're there for them and we stay there for them. And if someone gets it older, then we make sure we're there for them because they might not be able to take care of themselves for too long. So we need to step in and make sure they have a good life as well. Now, with all of that, let's take back control from congestive heart failure. Although it is a serious threat to the health of Black and Latinx communities, it doesn't have to be. With knowledge, action, and compassion, we can take back control. We can fight back against such a dangerous condition. We can start to help others, people that we know, people that we don't know. And by doing that, we can start to fight back against such a dangerous threat to our communities. Thank you.